Welcome to another episode of Chatting with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Chicky Chattin. What's up, Chicky?
What's up, Bill? What's going on, pal?
Doing, man.
Good.
Congratulations on your
Oh,
grandchild, man.
thank you. Yeah, my little granddaughter, my grandson was 6 months ago. Now my granddaughter was a week ago Thursday. So thank God, that's the most important thing.
Congratulations on that, man. I know it.
Thank you,
I
thank
know
you,
it's
man.
exciting to have a new member of the family.
Oh, forget it. But she's too young now. But next Christmas will be better. But I mean, as long as she's healthy and everything went good, and she's born with everything, all her limbs and everything. That's all that matters. With all the sadness in the world, and a lot of babies are being born, not great. So you know what I mean. It's a blessing. It is a blessing. So next it'll be this Christmas will be very very. We're thankful. Next Christmas will even be better when they get a little bit older and they can start seeing the lights and everything. It'll be nice. So, but thank you.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, man. So, do you want to tell the people? Explain. Can you see this picture I'm about to put up?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you want
Man,
to
I like.
explain to the people like what made you go into the military? Like what made you go into that direction?
Well, I was like, I got out of high school. I was about 18 years old, just turned 18 years old. Went behind the years. I thought I knew everything, but I didn't know where I wanted to go. Um, I had a couple good job opportunities, like college. I was up in the air. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and three different directions I could have went. And my father was a Marine, so my father said, "Listen, join the Marines or the Navy, and you'll see the world." He goes, you just turned 18. He goes, you're never going to see the world unless you go this way because you're never going to have the money to travel to go all over these places and I have to worry. So I'll never forget it. Um, I was banging around downtown Springfield one afternoon by myself, and I came up on a United States Navy recruiting office. So I went in there, and confused kid. I didn't know any better. Some like a Saturday afternoon, I got into a couple, and then they got a hold of me. The military guys got a couple hold of me. They showed me some videos. They said, "Listen, give it a try. Worst comes to worst, you're only 4 years of your life is nothing." And bum bum bum. Next thing you
Yeah,
know, I was in there for 2 hours watching videos, talking to the guys, and maybe 3 hours later, I came home and I was signed up on a Saturday afternoon, and I ended up signing up, and
did your family know? What did your family say about
no,
it?
they didn't know at that point. They didn't know at that point. Then I had to go back for a couple preliminary appointments, like physical and this and that. And they told me about my boot camp and everything. And then probably like a couple weeks later, I had told my parents. I said, you know what? My father was happy. I said to my parents, I said, you know what? I'm joining the military. It is what it is. I said, I'm gonna do that. I said, I'm gonna give it a try. And they were happy. They said, listen, if that makes you happy, we're happy. You're gonna see the world. Same thing. My father was a big thing for that. And I'll never forget it. My grandmother had passed about a month and a half prior to me joining. So I think that confused me a lot too. My grandmother lived with us for 30 years. She lived with me like my mother did. When my mother and father got married, um, she when they came home from their honeymoon, my grandmother was at the house. So she lived with me like a second mother. She was with me night and day, every day like a mother.
Yeah,
And she slept in a bedroom with my sister. And then I slept in the bedroom down the hall with my two brothers. So three of us slept in one bedroom, and my grandmother and my sister lived in another bedroom. So she was around from day one. She was in the bedroom, and she was like night and day, just like my mother cooked all the meals, helped my mother cook the meals. They had command of the kitchen, and so she was in my life like a mother. And she passed away suddenly of a heart failure in December, roughly probably a week before Christmas, uh, December 1985. And I
damn.
joined. I joined about a week and a half later. She was on my mind too. I joined, and I took off for boot camp. Uh, February 26, 1986. I took off for boot camp, Great Lakes, Illinois, in Chicago. Went down.
Damien wants to know real quick. What's your granddaughter's name?
My granddaughter was just born is Willow Ann, and my grandson, who was born 6 months ago, is Nino. Nazario. Nazario. So
I got
Nazario.
Willow tattooed across my stomach, man. They used to call
Oh,
me Willow when I was in prison.
really? Well,
Yeah.
okay. As long as you put my granddaughter on your name, your stomach, because we have big problems.
No, I have Willow right across my
I know,
stomach
I know,
in,
I
in
know.
graffiti, man. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I
I
know.
had these dudes draw it for me and stuff.
Yeah, so it is, my daughter's like one of these new wave, girls, and she's got these new names they're coming up with. Instead of like doing my mother's name, I said do your grandmother, your grandmother's name. And she said, Dad, I want to do something that means something. So they got their own little thing. But hey, listen, God bless. I mean, that's her name, and that's perfect. And yeah, so tell them thank you for asking that. But yeah, she's a sweetheart. I got her on my Instagram page, and I was over there today, and I'm blessed. I'm really blessed. At the end of the day, all the crazy shit we put our family through. At the end of the day, this is what it's all about. Spending time and seeing our grandchildren and my daughters, and everybody's healthy, and it's just that's the most important thing. Everything else you can take with a grain of salt.
Yeah. So once you got to base boot camp, how did
Yeah.
that go for you, man?
I showed up. I'll never forget it. It was February 26th, 1986, a long time ago. Here it was freezing cold in Great Lakes, Illinois, right about half hour outside Chicago. It was like it was like 25, 30 degrees colder, and it was pouring rain, ice, snow, rain. And by the time we got off the plane into O'Hara Airport in Chicago, and then a half hour drive away and waiting and all the traffic. It was literally like 2 in the morning. And we pulled up. We were on like I never forget. It was on one of them 55 passenger Greyhound buses. And we
Yeah.
pulled up, and there had to be like 40 of us because remember that day all the recruits were meeting the bus to go to Great Lakes. All the recruits for the boot camp all over the country we had probably about 6 guys from us from New England, from Boston, Hartford, Connecticut, all the New England states met at Bradley, and then we flew out there. So when we're on this like this Greyhound bus thing, there was probably about 50 of us from all over the East Coast, and we got on this bus and we went to Great Lakes, Illinois, and we pulled up at like probably it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'll never forget it. We pulled up and we came on. We went through the gates and all, and you got to understand something. The United States Navy owns the Marines, so for boot camp, your boot camp instructors are Marines. That's who trained you. That's who trains the Navy boot camp. There are some Navy guys, but the majority of the trainers for boot camp are the Marines. And you can go on anywhere. And like I said, the Navy owns the Marines. They're both in one.
Yeah.
And so we're all sitting on the bus, and it's 2 in the morning. It's freezing cold, and the Marines come on. Like there's like 20 Marines. They come on the Greyhound bus, and some of them got the little barrels, and they got the sticks in their hand, and they go da, 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 around the barrel. Come on, you bastards! And they're abusing us, and it's like 2 in the morning, and it was like 20 minutes when it first started. I'm like, what did I do? What did I get myself into?
And you're
And,
tired, right? You just
oh,
want to go to sleep.
tired. You're exhausted. You don't know. You're starving. You know what's going on. And you go into this. You're in Great Lakes, Illinois, in the boot camp, and it's just so surreal. You go in and you got like a little bag. They tell you just bring a little duffel bag with some little personal items. So we go into this building, and there's like 45 of us, 50 of us, and they're screaming and they're splitting us up and they're yelling, and you don't know if you're coming, you're going. It's freezing. So they bring us into a room, and then they sit you down at a table, like all like little little chairs. They explain basically everything but nothing, and they're yelling at you. They're torturing you the whole way, and then they bring us in another part of the building, and of they call it receiving, where they receive you, and it's like It's no girls. There's no girls. It's all guys because the girls boot camp,
Of course,
the
man.
girls boot camp is in Florida. They go to Florida and they go to San Diego. Them are the two boot camps for girls.
Yeah,
And
they would be sneaking into the dorms if there was girls there, you
forget it.
know.
Yeah, but there's one boot camp in Florida and one in San Diego, and I think one of the two of the girls boot camp have guys boot camp there too, but they're not on the same base. But anyways, so we were just a guys boot camp. So they sneak. I mean, they bring us down there, and I mean, it's like right now it's 3:30 in the morning. We fill out some papers, and then they bring us in this huge room with all beds, like bunk beds, and you know, they say, okay, let's go. Everybody takes off all their clothes, all their street clothes, and they march you into this huge shower. 50 guys are in this huge shower thing, completely naked.
Yeah, it's
And
like some jail shit, right? Some
jail shit,
prison.
right? And I
Yeah.
didn't know it at the time, but boy, you're right. So then they hit the showers, and the showers are so hot. It's like there's no cold showers, there's no hot showers. It's like scalding hot where they don't even care. It's like your skin is melting off your body, and you got to go under. They want you to take a shower, so you take a shower, and you just forget it. Yeah, it's so hot. There's no temperature, nothing. It's like 100 something degrees. So now you take a shower, and you only take a little. You're going in, coming out, going in, coming out because it's so hot. So then you throw on your street clothes, as best you can. And finally, by the time you get to bed, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning, right? That first night. And then everyone just passes out because they're so full of exhaustion, and you're scared, and you know what you're doing. So you fall asleep, and like literally an hour later, it's like 5:30 in the morning. Da, 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 they come with the barrels. Get up, you piece of crap, you piece of shit. And they're screaming. And I swear to God, that first night, you're going to think I'm crazy. I had a dream of my grandmother, right? And I was like, what did you do to me? I was talking to my grandmother. And I go, what did you do to me? And all of a sudden I woke up and the lights are on. It's like, literally an hour and a half after I went to bed. It's like 5:30. The lights are on. Put on your clothes. They're abusing you. And you march to, now it's freezing cold. And it's so funny because you're marching. You're all out of step. Everyone's tripping over each other's feet. You don't know what you're
They
doing.
already cut your hair, right?
No. They do that. That's next morning. That's that morning. They do everything that morning.
Yeah.
From 6 in the morning till 10 in the morning, they do everything. You get your clothes, your hair, everything, your shots. So it's like 5:30 in the morning. They're marching us. It's pouring rain, sleet, snow, freezing cold weather, and you're walking. You got your regular street clothes on, and it's so funny because you're walking to the mess hall to the breakfast to eat breakfast, and all these other Navy guys are like with their white Navy hats on, like they've been there 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. They're marching on the other side of the street, and you look like you're half nuts, and you're
Yeah, they
walking.
look like OGs, like they've been there for only a couple weeks.
In the dudes, they're singing, in the Navy, and they're all screaming, and who's yelling, and who's leading who, and we're tripping over each other's feet. We look like bums, right? Now, fast
look
forward.
Like Bad News Bears and
shit.
Yeah,
Exactly. With our long hair, and they're like, fast forward to 3 weeks later, and then we're the ones that are singing, hey, and all these other guys are coming. Every week a new group came, and we were the ones singing.
Do the old guys abuse the new guys?
No, they don't abuse them, but you feel like you feel you're the shit. You know what I mean? Because you're on the other side of the street, and we would have our within 2 weeks. You think you're the OG, like you're driving down the street and you got your own cadence. Like we used to have one called Yellow Bird. The Marine guy would make them up, but he knew it from many years, and we would be singing the best ones. I'm trying to think the ones they used to sing, but when you're an 18-year-old kid, 19-year-old kid, and you got your uniform on, your hair's butched, and you've been there 2-3 weeks, it's like you think you're in the war for like a year, because
you feel like you're accepted, though. You feel accepted,
you feel like
right?
you're the shit, and they're singing the cadence, and it's like you're actually proud to walk by these guys with long hair, and they're all looking at you like you looked at the guy 2 weeks prior. You know what I mean?
And that's the same way it is when you're in prison.
Yeah, same thing.
And you're there for a while. You're there for a while, and then the new guys come in. You're looking at them like, I'm an OG. I've been here for 2 weeks.
And I know both sides of it. You know that, so I know exactly. And then a little while, you go off to the new guys, and you're like, hey, buddy, can I help you out? You need this, you need that, depending on who the guy is. But anyways,
Yeah.
so that first morning we go to Chow Hall, and we're like, now picture every guy's thinking the same thing I am, thinking, what the fuck did I get myself into, right?
Yeah.
So we're eating cereal, and so anyways, they get us out of there, abusing us, they're yelling at us, and they bring us right away, right after breakfast. It's like 6:15. They bring us to some place where they got like 3, 4 barbers, and we wait in line in the freezing cold outside. One by one we go in, or 3 by 3 we go in. Burp, all the hair off, bald. Take off your clothes, throw them down. Then they put you in their underwear, and you get all your clothes, your boots, your camouflage, and you get all your stuff. And then by like 9, 10 in the morning, and now this is you've been up since 4, 5 o'clock. So you get all your stuff by noontime. You go eat lunch. Back march right to the same place again. Get your lunch. Then you got your whole bag full of clothes, and you go to your first dorm, like a boot camp dorm, where you're going to be for the next 8 or 12 weeks. And you meet your drill sergeant, who was a Marine and a Navy guy, or either Marines or Navy, or both. We had both. And we go upstairs, and they give us our bunks, right? And it's an open berthing with like double bunks with like maybe a total of probably like I'm gonna say maybe 30, 35 bunks, so about 70 guys in your unit. And
Yeah.
it's a building with 4 stories, 4 on one side, 4 on the other. So you got 8 companies. They call them companies. 8 companies in that one building, and there's probably 10 buildings. So you had a lot of companies. And we were 080, and then they had 081, 082. So either way, going either before or after us, you had the numbers. And you start, the first day. Now you don't go, and then the first day you get your locker. They show you how to do it. You get your clothes, and the first probably 4 days is just marking your clothes. Like, you got to take these, they show you how to do it. You get markers, and you got to mark, you get stencils, and you mark your name. I used to have write Chickatelli's, which is like 12 letters on all
Oh
my
man.
shirts, all my
Do you
underwear.
have to do you have to make the stencils?
No, they give them to you. They'll give you your stencil. They give you, and then you get a black marker, and on every pair of underwear, and then you get a pea coat, your boots, your socks, your underwear. You got to put it on every stitch of clothing you have.
Bro, your name's got like so
Yeah,
many
no
letters,
shit.
man.
My underwear went from one band all the way to the other band. My socks, forget about it. Some people got Smith. I got Chickatelli. I'm like, what the fuck? I should
You
just
couldn't just put an abbreviation on there?
no. And then not only that, but not only do you put your name, then under your name you got to put your social. So 010, my social. Then you got to put the company number 081 or whatever. It's crazy. So that took 4 days to do all our clothes. We sat all day long doing all that. So the first 3, 4 days is just getting yourself in check, setting up your your unit and all that. Then you start going to schooling. You start doing PT, everyday PT, jogging 3, 4 miles, which the first few weeks we couldn't even do that, but we were
What,
doing
you have to
it.
stop running? Like what would happen if
Yeah, I
you're
mean, you gotta
running
you
and
gotta
you
you
just
bust your
can't do it?
balls.
What
Well,
would happen? You're
it's
running, you
just
get a
like,
cramp, you just can't run no more. What would happen then?
oh, they torture the shit out of you. You gotta run. It's like, and I can't even. This is the Navy, and they say the Navy is better than all of them. But like, if you're in the Marines or the Army, it's like even crazier. Like out in these hot states where you're running through 100-degree weather. We were in the winter, so we're inside a gym, and we used to have to run and do like they would have a series of things like 100 push-ups, 100, all it within, you gotta do it within like a half an hour. 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 things where you stand up, jumper jacks, go back down, push up, then you go back up, and there's like 6
Yeah,
things you do.
burpees.
Yeah,
Burpees.
right. So you gotta do
Yeah.
100 of them. So you're doing 300 of this, then that, then that. It's crazy. So of course people are dropping out. Now keep in mind, anytime you fail a thing of PT, right? Of PT, if you fail PT or you fail anything on a written exam, every week you have a test on all of this. Once a week, you have a test on all this. If you fail it, you get one more try. If you mess up, they give you one more try the next day. If you fail it again, you start boot camp all over again. So if you're in boot camp 6, 7 weeks and you fail, you go back to week 1. So basically, you go from this big shot guy who's
Yeah.
walking all proud of yourself, you're back to where the guys with all the long hair coming in the next week. Okay, which is like so scary. That's like the worst thing you can go through. So thank God. I don't know what happened with me, but I didn't feel nothing. I was great in school. I got great grades. I did all the. I busted my chops. Whatever I had to do, I did it. I got through the physical part. I wasn't failing. I said, after all this, I ain't failing.
Did you
But there
see
was
a
a
lot of
couple.
other people start at the
Oh, not
beginning
a
and keep
lot,
going
not
back?
a lot, but there was a couple. And what you seen them go through, it was, oh, you would say this shit ain't happening to me. I mean, it was devastating because being in boot camp 2 weeks was like being in the outside world like 3 months. So if you got put back 2 weeks, it was awful. So, anyways, I did good. Like I said, the first 2 or 3 weeks, now we're walking down the street, in the Navy, we're screaming, and these other goofs are getting off, not goofs, but these other poor bastards are getting off the bus with the long hair. We think we're the shit, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we're looking at them like we got looked at the first day, right?
Hmm.
So, we go on. This goes on for 9 or 10 weeks, and I mean, we're doing archery, we're learning guns, we're learning hand-to-hand combat, swimming because the Navy's big with water. So we're in the pool a lot, learning how to save yourself if we get thrown
Yeah,
off
but
the
are you
boat.
like on the verge of drowning when they teach you to all this
No,
stuff
I
because
mean,
they throw
no,
you in
no,
the
I mean,
water?
no, yeah, no, you got to swim. They know if you're swimming or not, but you do. They put you in situations where they don't let you just say, oh, "Okay, I'm tired. Can I come up?" They
Yeah,
put
like
you
your
in
hands are
situations.
tied and shit.
Exactly, shit like that, and how to make clothes, how to make devices out of your clothes, like our military, our Navy pants, the jeans. We would have to
Yeah,
tie the bottoms and then tie the tops, like let the air, like the water in the pants, and tie the bottom so they would be a floating device, like they
yeah,
could float. So
yeah. I
you have
saw
to learn,
that.
yeah, you
I
have to
saw
learn all
that
that
on
shit.
TV.
So I was already a good swimmer, thank God, but there was a lot of guys that never could swim. Like, unfortunately, I don't know why, and it's not being prejudiced, it's being the way it is. A lot of African American guys in the military, I mean, from what I seen in my boot camp, couldn't swim. So they had to go to like a whole nother thing of swimming, you know what I mean, as far as learn how to swim. So that put them back another month or 6 weeks to learn how to swim. And then they went further because I don't know why they just didn't swim that great from what I saw. But thank God I could swim. And then they had, which I knew I wasn't even going to try out, but I tried. But halfway through boot camp, if you get if you're doing good grades in the physical aspect of it and the mental aspect of it, they have guys come in from San Diego. It's called Coronado Island, the SEAL tryouts, and they come in, and you got to swim like it's like the equivalent of like 6 miles, but you're in a pool. But you got to swim like 350 laps, up and back, one lap, up and two laps. You got to swim like 6 miles. You got to then they take you into a big thing. You got to run like you swim 6 miles, you jog 6 miles, and then there's something else. You do something else, and it's like you got to do that with all in a 3 hour period. You got to do like a triathlon, and if you get, and there are some people that made it, but not nowhere near me. I had not even come close, but there are some people that made it, and if you make it, then they take you to another part of the military boot camp where if you make that, they fly you to San Diego to Coronado Island, and you get a 300. I think it's 357 days boot camp, which is a 1 year boot camp, and you become a SEAL, a United States, a Navy SEAL, which is a serious guys. They're no joke. The president calls them when they got to do any kind of terrorist shit. They're the ones they call. I know. Don't get me wrong. The Marines have the Army has the Rangers, all this special forces. But when shit got to go down, like when Bin Laden, all these guys had to get killed, the United States
Yeah,
Navy SEALs is who goes. That's it. Don't let no one fool you. The SEALs are who goes for the serious shit.
yeah.
So
The top
top
missions.
top echelon. They got the president has their number on his speed dial. That's how serious these guys are. And the only reason I know this is not because I was ever one of them. I could never have been one of them. But on my ship, fast forward later on my ship, we were with a SEAL team that was stationed to my ship, and they were serious guys. And I became friends with a lot of them. We go out party on the weekend when they weren't working, and
Yeah,
every single one of them was like zero body fat, ripped up, serious guys. And they could handle, like, before nobody knew what jiu-jitsu was back in the late 80s, and these guys were doing that kind of shit where they hand-to-hand combat and guns, and they could shoot any weapon and make weapons out of friggin' crazy shit. I mean, the guys were incredible.
Yeah.
So fast forward, I learned about them guys from being around them guys. Not that I was ever in them. I could never have been in them. You know, these guys are
So
their own command
after
people.
after you get done with boot camp, what's like the next
Okay.
step from there?
So now the next step is A school. Okay. Now, whatever you chose, I was a gunner's mate. Everybody has a different A school. Like, if you're like let's say a boatswain mate who controls the boat and making these different kind of ties and learning how to moor the ship up to the docks and all this kind of stuff, outside deck stuff, that's a boatswain mate. Um, but like I was a gunner's mate, so I learned about all the guns, the ammunition, all that stuff, you know.
Yeah,
And so
you like load the guns when
I
you're
load
shooting
the
them
guns,
and
I
stuff
shoot
like
them.
that.
I used to shoot the M16, M14, all the 9mm, 380, all the guns. I'm good at guns, right?
Yeah.
And so that was my school. So I went to A school right after I got out. I did 9 or 10 weeks of military of school. You know, I mean, I'm sorry, a boot camp. And then I went another 7 weeks after that, no, 7 or 8 weeks after that of boot camp. Usually after boot camp, 9 weeks or 10 weeks, you go home and then you go to your A school. But my A school started like 2 days after my boot camp ended, so I didn't get to go home. I stayed 9 or 10 weeks, you know, in Chicago, and then I stayed in Chicago, but off the base onto another base of A school for gunner's mate, and it was like a college. We stayed in a dorm. You didn't stay in we stayed in like a dorms. You didn't stay in like a boot camp's atmosphere, and you go to school Monday through Friday, and you get off Friday at 4 o'clock, and you're done for the weekend as long as you study and do your tests, just like college. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you're off. So we were
Yeah.
taking cabs into the city to Chicago and partying and grabbing, you know, fun and girls and bars, and you know, we're in the best shape of our life,
Is
and
there people that get in trouble when they go out and do
of
yeah.
course, well, they have in these different parts with ports. I'm not ports, with different parts where like the schools are and the military bases. We have shore patrol. So if you get in trouble, I mean, the police would get involved, but it's mostly like the Navy and the Marine shore patrol. If you're getting drunk, you know, you got to watch yourself. You don't go crazy, but we did have fun. And the shore patrol would come in the different joints, the strip joints, and the different bars, and say, you know, they'd have their uniform down. They'd say, "Okay, guys, slow down." You know, they know how to talk. What
Yeah.
outfit are you with? What boot camp you with? They were pretty good. And we had a great, you know, like every weekend we were out having a good time. We were getting hotel rooms. Like once you're off duty, you're off, so you don't have to come back. You know, if you're off Friday at 4 o'clock, I get 6, 7 guys. We were gone Friday, Saturday night, and Sunday night. We get a hotel for 3 nights. We'd all chip in. We'd be out having the best time, and then we as long as you're back by Monday morning at 6 a.m. for class.
Now what if you're out smoking pot? What if you smoke pot during the
No, you can't.
weekend?
They take the test. You can't. If you get
When you
caught smoking pot, they hold you back. They put you in the brig. You lose your rank. You add on time to your thing. You know, onto your time. Listen, nobody's doing drugs in boot camp or A school. I mean, they are. If they are, they're morons because they get caught. I mean, back in the day, they were getting caught like left and right, and they were losing their privileges. It's just like a real, you know, if somebody can't hold off smoking pot for a couple months, 3 months, we got a big problem. But
yeah.
there was a couple guys that got caught. But I mean, I was never into drugs or smoking or nothing, so it didn't bother me. But no, we used to go out and have a good time. And then so what happened is I scored. I was very lucky. I did good. I was scored very high on my A school for gunner's mate. I was top three in this class. It was 60, 70 guys. I was top three. So what
Yeah.
happened is they said, okay, during the whole A school, they used to say the top three guys can pick their first three duty stations anywhere in the world. The top three guys can pick their three best duty stations anywhere in the world, and they're guaranteed one of them. So I'll never forget. They told me I scored. I was like number two out of 1, 2, 3. I was number two. There was some other guy number one and the guy number three. So they said,
Yeah.
okay, you guys can pick any duty station in the world, and we guarantee one of them. So I put I put San Francisco, California. I put Honolulu for a dream spot, and then I put Boston. And I know Boston. I'm in Chicago, but I figure, hey, if I'm going to be in the military, they got a Boston Naval Base. I said, put me into the Boston Naval Base. I'll be home every weekend, and I'll have
Yeah.
my new career. So them were my three I picked. And then the other two guys, and out of 80 guys, picked three, three. So fast forward a week later, we're sitting in this big meeting and we're getting our duty stations. They're handing out the tickets. Now, what happens is they hand you a ticket where from A school, you go home, you fly into like Bradley International, near our house, Staxx. And I go home for a month or whatever, a month or 2 weeks, or they tell you how many you go home. You chill out, you see all your friends. You haven't been home in like 3-4 months. You see everybody. And then after so many, either 2 weeks, depending, or overseas 30 days, you go and you got your tickets to fly wherever you're flying. So what they're doing is they're telling everybody, okay, here's your tickets, and they tell you what fleet you're in and what assignment you have. So they're going through, all of them. And of course, me and these other two guys are the first three guys they call. One guy first and the second guy. The guy that I was with put Italy. His number one short was Italy. He got it somewhere in Italy. I remember where it was near Sicily. So he got Italy. So they go Chickatelli, U.S. Now, when they gave me the initials, I had no clue what they were talking about. They said U.S. PAC Pac Fleet, Pearl Harbor, Honolulu. So should they go U.S. Chickatelli, U.S. Pac Fleet, Pearl Harbor? That's what they said. So, and they keep going on to the next guy. So I said to the guy next to me, "What the hell is that?" I know I heard Pearl Harbor. What the fuck is U.S. Pac Fleet?
Yeah, I'm sure they all put in for that place too. They probably all did.
Right. So U.S. Pac Fleet means United States Pacific Fleet, and Pacific Fleet means you're with there's three big battle groups out of San Diego and San Francisco called the USS Nimitz, the USS Constellation, and USS I believe it's the USS Enterprise. In San Diego, there's three of aircraft carrier groups. I was with the USS Nimitz battle group, but my ship was stationed in Honolulu. It wasn't stationed in San Diego. The aircraft was in San Diego. So I was stationed in Honolulu. So they said, Honolulu, you're stationed in Honolulu, Honolulu, Hawaii, in Pearl Harbor, my ship. So I'm a 19-year-old kid, just turned 19. I got like a little girlfriend at home, like a little high school sweetheart. And here I am, just turning 19, just still 18. And they tell me I'm going to Honolulu for the next 4 years, right?
So, but do you get a paycheck? Like, so you're out of boot camp.
You got a paycheck in boot camp from the day you started, but you don't need to pay. In other words, when you get out of boot camp, you're like 3 months in by school. They give you a check for like big money. Back then, it was huge money. You get paid good money, like the equivalent of great money. I don't remember what it was, but they give you a check for like, just say they give you a check for $1,800 for like 2 months, which was big money back then. The late '80s or whatever, mid '80s.
Yeah, back then it was.
So,
hell yeah.
So you got a ton of money. So now I go home. I got my Navy outfit on. Now keep in mind, I go in the military back in the day. I was in good shape, but I go back. I go home. I'm in great shape. I got my white like you think I'm Tom Cruise on Top Gun with the white uniform on with the hat. You got the nice tan, whatever. Because you're out in the sun, even though it's winter. You're walking. You're marching everywhere. You're outdoors all day. So I come home. I land at Bradley International, and here I come with the white suit with all the the black whatever it was. They got a black suit and a white suit depending where you go. But here I am with my uniforms.
Yeah.
And my parents pick me up. My girl picks me up at the time. A little 17-year-old whippersnapper picks me up, girl. And you look like a movie star. Like my father goes, "Oh my God, even the way you walk, the way you hold yourself, listen, they make you a man. They break you down to nothing, but they make you a man." And so I'm home now for a month. Now, when you go to either overseas or Hawaii, it's considered overseas, even though Hawaii is, USA. But and I stayed home a month. So the funny part about it is so now I'm home a month. I go. My friends see me. My mother has a party for me, welcome me home. All my friends come. I mean, it's just you think who you are. You think your shit is the cat's meow, right? Mm-hmm. So because hey, you're doing good things. You're all in your white outfit. Everybody's proud of you. So a month goes by, and they send me my orders. Now I don't have my orders now. I just have a plane ticket, but they send me my orders. It comes in. And they drop off at my house. The U.S. recruiting office comes by with a government car, gives me my orders. And it says, like, say, I'm home a month. It says, okay, next week, report. Here's all your plane stuff. Okay. Now, keep in mind, my ship was in Honolulu, but my ship was stationed in Honolulu, but they were out in the Indian Ocean on a Westpac. So I couldn't meet my ship in Honolulu because they weren't in Honolulu. I had to meet
Yeah.
my ship up in the Indian Ocean. So so they give me all my criteria, what I got to do. I got to fly from Bradley International to San Francisco. That's like 9 hours.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
flew. I took that flight.
crazy. San Francisco to Honolulu, which is another 5 hours or 4 hours. Honolulu to Guam, which is another 8 hours. And it's a 12-hour time difference. So by the time I got to all these places, it was like 3 days went by. I didn't know what the fuck my name was. I didn't know where I was. I left on Sunday and I got there like on forget it. I don't even know, a week later. It was crazy, right? So
Yeah.
I met my ship in Guam, and that's where my ship was. So I get off it's like another time, 3 in the morning. I landed some little crazy airport in Guam. It's like a little half-ass hillbilly airport. They take me in a Jeep to go to my ship in the naval base. And then it's like 3 in the morning, same thing. By the time I get there, I don't know where I am. I get on this enormous ship the size of a friggin' aircraft carrier, but it's an oiler and it carries 10.5 million gallons of JP5 jet fuel. We are literally the Pride, Texaco, whatever gas station you want to name on water. So we sit in the middle of the Indian Ocean, and all the aircraft carriers, all the destroyers, all the ships pull up on the side of us. We shoot lines across and we refuel. It's called underway replenishment. You go at 45, 50 knots in the water, and we refuel the fleet so they don't have to go into port to get fuel. You understand?
Yeah, it's
So
crazy.
so I met my ship in Guam, and we start our venture in the Indian Ocean. 101 days, almost 3 months straight without seeing land. And now keep in mind, at that time, there's no cell phones. And even if there are cell phones, like now, today, there's cell phones, they still shut them
Wouldn't
off
work.
where you got you got no service, because they don't want you on the phone, especially today. They don't want you on the phone telling your parents and your girlfriend and your friends, oh, I'm in such and such. I'm in the Indian Ocean. I'm in Sandy. They don't, when it's a military thing, they don't want you telling people where you are. It's a secret, for whatever reason. They don't want you telling. So when I was in, like I said, there was no cell phones, and there was you had to wait till you go to port. And like I said, there was times 3 months straight where I didn't even talk to my mother, your father. I would talk to my girl, nobody. So, I mean, God forbid, there was people on my ship that their family died, their grandmother died, their father died, and they literally didn't know it until we pulled in port, and they got word that, some of them, their parents died a week prior, and they had the funeral and everything, and they couldn't go. So it was crazy, because they don't just come and get you. They don't spend millions. They're not going to spend hundreds of thousands so you get a plane that somebody lands on your ship and takes you off to bring you to a funeral. That don't happen.
They're not gonna do that. No.
Yeah, it's not going to
No.
screw up, whatever the secrets of where you are. It's for that. But it don't happen too often, but it does happen. And
I got a
and
I
then
got
I
a
went around
picture
the
of the
world.
Nimitz. I got a picture of the boat right
Yeah,
here,
USS
man.
Nimitz. You got it up there?
Yep.
You got it? Oh, that Nimitz is
Yeah.
serious. Let me hold on a second.
It's
I'm trying to
huge.
find it. Oh, there it is, right there. Now keep in mind, okay, that's the USS Nimitz battle group. Now, my ship is this. Picture this: that the Nimitz has right there. That ship has about 5,500 people. Okay, you're looking at the superstructure right there. Up top is where all the captains and all the big shot lieutenant commanders are. That's where they send off the ships. I mean, the jets. There's like roughly 97 F-16, F-14 jets on a.
Now this picture is when they tried to sink the boat.
Okay, well, I don't know about that. I was just looking at the superstructure where you just showed me. I didn't see the smoke, but that superstructure is where they go. That's where they go. Where like the ships take off. All the big shot, the commissioned officers are up there, and the
Yeah, it's right there
superstructure
where the 68 is on there,
up
right?
there. Yep, that's all there. And then
Yeah.
in that superstructure, it's like the size of about an 8-story building. That's where all the captains, all the enlisted officers live. They
See,
live.
they got boats hanging on the
Oh,
side of it.
it's incredible. Yeah, it's incredible. Now, wait a minute. See, I think them little helicopters all over there. The 1, 2, 3, the 5 or 7, 8 of them right there in the back. Are them helicopters? I think.
I think I
Or
don't know if they're
jets.
helicopters or they might be those
Anyways, it's incredible. My ship, and I got to send you some pictures I have. I should, if I knew you were going to talk about this, I would have sent it to you. But I got so many pictures of our ship next to that ship. Now, what I was saying before is my ship, that ship has 5,500 enlisted on that ship, and it's that size. My ship was a USS Cimarron A0177 out of Pearl Harbor, Honolulu. My ship was as big as that ship, but only had 450 guys on it because my ship was 99% or 98% fuel. So we only went with a crew of like 350 and then a couple SEAL teams that were on my ship for security to protect my ship. You know what I mean? Because if any war started or any terrorism, the first person they would blow up is my ship. Because
because they want to stop the all
not only stop it, it would blow up
They
10 square miles. It would blow up 10 square miles of ocean, you know, because we carried 10.5 million gallons of fuel on our ship. So, but we were protected to the guns. I mean, we had the Nimitz, we had destroyers, we had all these people around us. There was at any given day we had 12 ships within 100 miles of us. So if anything ever happened to us, I mean, they could take off. We had a carrier with 97 jets. I mean, within 100 miles, the jets would take right off the ship and go warn the people. Hey, listen, you got so many.
I got another picture of the Nimitz. It's a different angle. It's pretty crazy.
Did you pull up if you can pull up my ship too? It's the USS Cimarron A0177 out of Pearl Harbor. There's pictures of it all over the internet.
Look at this, man. This thing's huge.
Oh, the Nimitz was.
Oh shit! He must have hit the wrong button. He'll be back in a minute. He hit the wrong button. Let me get a pictures. He said the USS Cimarron. What's up, man?
I'm sorry, it went off.
It's okay.
Yeah,
I found it, man.
Show that picture again of the big one of the Nimitz you were showing before. I saw part of it, but it went off. I'm good now.
I found the USS Cimarron, man.
Yeah, A0177. I'll tell you, it's got it's huge, and it's got the things hanging off the side, 3 and 3 on the other side. You'll see it.
Yeah, it's like kind of like looks like lobster traps.
Yeah. It's an oiler. Them are oil lines. Them are the gas lines on it. And I'll tell you when you see the ship, I'll tell you what it was, and I'll show you where we lived.
What do they put it from boat to boat, and then they
exactly. What they do is they shoot. Nowadays the new oilers, I don't know, they must be so updated, but when we did them back in the day, we would take a gun and shoot lines across to the other ship next to us. And then, there it is right there. There's my ship. Okay. Now, see in the back to the left, all the way to the back is the deck. And we would land helicopters and all that stuff on the back deck. And plus on that back deck, we would play basketball. You can't see it now. It's too far, but we'd have basketball chicks. We'd have all the way around that whole ship, all the way up from aft to forward. There would be we could jog, and then see them lines that got like the hooks on the top.
Yeah,
the lines up there. Okay, well then would have hoses, and when a ship pulled up next to us, we would shoot the lines across, and then they would take the lines and go from like 2-inch lines to 6-inch lines to 12-inch lines, and they would plug 6 or 8 lines into the ship, and it would be called underway replenishment. We'd be going 35, 40, 50 knots, and the rubber hoses would stretch out, and we'd be refueling it would take probably like an hour next to the carrier to refuel the carrier completely full where they didn't have to go back in.
I got a picture of them playing basketball.
That's not on my ship. That's a superstructure. That's on that's an aircraft carrier.
But still, they're playing basketball on the ship, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They did all when we weren't working. That was our thing. Sunday afternoon, they had Sunday afternoon cookouts where we could have beer and lobster and steak. Listen,
would they catch their own? Do they catch their own fish out of the ocean? And
no. Well, they could. They used to let you if you show that picture of the USS Cimarron again, I'll show you something. But because when you're up high where the helos are. Okay.
Yeah.
Now look at. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but see where the deck is, where the helos on the left, where the helos land.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, right under that, if you go down about 8 feet under the deck, there's an opening in the back. You might not see it though, but it looks like a window in the back underneath where the halos land, right?
Yeah, I see it. I see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We used to hang around back there, and if you were up on the deck, it was too high. You couldn't. The fishing poles wouldn't reach in the water because it's like a couple 100 feet into the ocean. But we
Yeah.
would go in that bottom level and fish off there, and you would pull up huge fish. And I swear to God, maybe out of 10 times I did it, 5 or 6 times, at least half times, guys were pulling up big fish, like big, huge fish, and they would be pulling them up to that second level window where you just saw. And I
Yeah.
swear to God, I got a couple pictures too, where guys were wheeling up the fish, and a shark would jump right out of the water and rip the fish out of their line, rip it right down, and bite their head off and rip it right down. Shark. I mean, you're in the Indian Ocean and 30-foot swells. It's no joke. You fall over in that water, you're all done, you know?
Yeah, they're not gonna just turn around the boat
They
and come
can't.
get
I mean,
you. They can't.
gonna,
Yeah.
well, there's alarm signs. They'll do alarm signs, and they'll turn the boat eventually, but it takes like literally half an hour. I mean, you're in big trouble. And
So, did you see anybody fall overboard
no,
since the whole time
I
you've been
never
there?
seen nobody fall overboard, but I had guys on my ship that were putting fuel in the USS Nimitz like a couple years prior to me getting on board. And on the Nimitz, they have this thing that it hooks up to the jets, and I forgot what it's called, but it pulls the ship. It's a pulling system, and it pulls the jets so fast that it puts them up in the air, so they don't, because there ain't enough room to get them off. And then when
Yeah.
they land, it hooks them, and when they land, it stops them. You know what I mean? So they don't fly off
Yeah.
the ship. And I see that guy. Well, the guy told me he was on the deck of the ship when an aviation boats mate, which is a guy that's on top of the deck of the aircraft carrier. His foot got caught, and it sprung him off the ship like going 100 miles an hour, like into the air. He flew right into the ocean, and I don't know how he did, but he lived. They ended up turning the boat around, and he lived. But it was a
Wow.
miracle. It was a miracle. It flung him like Superman right off the ship, 100 miles an hour, and he lived. You know, and so there are definitely times that happen, but I never personally seen it. But the guy told me it was incredible to see. And I mean, it's what an experience for 19. By now, I'm 19 years old. I'm going all over the place. I'm all over the world. I went to Japan, Korea, China, Singapore, Malaysia, Bangkok, Thailand, Philippines, Australia, Perth, Sydney, Melbourne. Oh my God, I could go on and on. And then after all this trip, like 4 months later, after the Westpac is over, Indian Ocean Westpac, guess where I come back to my duty station? Honolulu.
The
Oh,
best place you could be, right?
unbelievable. Unbelievable. And then, of course, I meet a lot of good guys on the boat. So when we pull in there, we don't live on the boat. You're supposed to live on the boat, but if you guys can afford it, you get like 6, 7 guys together, and you get an apartment. It only costs you like a couple $100 a month each to live right
Yeah.
on the water. We come out our front back door. We're in the ocean. We're in the Indian Ocean. I mean, I'm sorry,
And
not Indian
and
Ocean.
then
We're in
and then
Honolulu.
you have to go to the boat every
You go to the
day to
boat every
work.
day like a job. You go to the boat every day. You wear your clothes. You wear your fatigues. Go to the boat every day. The boat doesn't leave port. It stays. It's all. Sometimes it's in dry dock where it comes out of the water, and you're welding, and you're getting the guns ready, and you're doing all new gun systems. And other times it's in the water, but you're not leaving the port. You don't leave the port for like you only leave every so often. Every couple of months, you might leave for a couple of weeks, but you only do the 101 days in the Indian Ocean once a year, and you're gone like 3, 4 months without seeing land. You literally are like, it's really like prison, really, because you do not see
It's
land.
like
No,
prison.
I mean,
Yeah,
I hate to
I
say it, but
believe
it's
it,
like
man.
prison.
Yeah,
Yeah, the only thing is you eat like a champ. They got the best food of foods, all lobster, and the best food, scallops, the best. Not that you catch them. The military takes care of their people. It's got the best food, but there's no women. And we had no women on our boat. Now, nowadays, like the aircraft carrier, if there's 5,500 enlisted on the ship, probably 2,000 are women. So, you know, you can meet, if you're single or whatever, you can meet a girl and you can hang out with a girl. And there's places where you can go on ship where if you're off, they have like little clubs, not clubs, but you have like little areas where you can meet girls and hang out and have a drink. But
yeah.
that's on the big boats. But we didn't have girls in ours. But it was crazy. It was a great experience. It was a great experience.
How would the locals treat you in Hawaii when you would go out after
I'll tell
work?
you the truth. It was crazy. There were Samoans, like a ton of guys. Was crazy in Hawaii. You had petite. This is what the thing in Hawaii was. You had petite Hawaiian girls, beautiful. I'm talking about gorgeous,
I
like
know.
really, really beautiful Hawaiian girls, right? Size like
Shout
two,
out to all the Hawaiian girls out there.
beautiful girls, size 2 to like size 10 or 12. I'm just telling you. And then you would have these huge animal, big Samoans, right?
Yeah,
So there would be little petite girls with these big Samoan guys, and the Samoan guys would wear these things like they would wear like the guys I met were nice guys, but they would have they wear these like wraps around their body and a lot of sandals and they became friends with us because they worked on base. We became friends with them and they would
yeah.
party with us. But they hated when their Hawaiian women liked us because a lot of Hawaiian women loved the American soldiers, whether Navy, Marines, especially the Marines are all in shape. I mean, we're all in shape too. But I had a couple pictures of me on my Instagram. Okay, you're like, holy shit, you wouldn't even recognize me. But you got to stay in shape. They make you run every day, even if you're not on the water. You do PT, and then, you got to keep up. But their women loved Americans. They loved them.
Yeah.
And the Hawaiian guys used to get pissed, like the Samoans especially would get pissed. But it is what it is. But most of the Navy guys married girls from the Philippines. Now the Philippine girls, very pretty women, but they would hook up with the American guys to get to America. They would only hook up with them to get to America, get a green card, and then once they got here,
They
some
take
guys
off.
stayed married.
Right.
The other ones got here and they wanted to kill themselves. The girls would leave them right away, never see them again.
Yeah.
But and I met a ton of guys that were like just suicidal on the boat. I loved her. Meanwhile, me and my friends would laugh and say, "You dummy," but we didn't want to tell them we felt bad. But it was just a crazy time. It was a crazy time, and the bars and the girls and the different places. Seeing, I would I'd work right on my boat and like literally 50 yards away from where we were docked was the USS Arizona Memorial, where all the tourists used to come and look at that. That's the boat they blew up in Pearl Harbor. Remember the movie
Yeah.
Pearl Harbor?
Yeah.
And back into the late 80s, it still dripped oil. It still dripped oil. Imagine that. It dripped
Wow.
a little bit of oil every day from the whenever it happened. What happened? The 1950s or something, or whenever it happened.
Yeah. 45. I
Whatever it
think it
was.
was
Yeah, it
around
still
40.
dripped oil.
40.
It still dripped a little oil every day. They had like proof that it dripped oil back in the late 80s.
That's
It's crazy.
crazy.
So we went all. I went on different tours of. They had like tours of the underwater. They
The
got
boats that were
the
sunk in
ones that
Pearl
go
Harbor.
underwater. Yeah, the submarines. Oh my God, them guys there, the submariners. They used to have to go for psychological training. Oh my God, imagine going underwater for 6 months straight. Six
Nah,
months
man.
underwater, and you can't just say, "Oh my God, I'm freaking out. Bring this ship up." They
I
laugh
know.
at you. They
Yeah,
laugh
or
at you.
or anything happens, someone dies in your
Anything.
family
Well,
that you
you want to
can't
know about.
leave. They're not going to bring you.
No, no.
No.
And they got padded rooms in there, and they got like little cell blocks where if you go crazy and start flipping out, they put you in a padded room and they lock it, and you ain't getting out. You're under psychological watch. It's
Can you
crazy.
imagine? Can you imagine, man?
Imagine being underwater and you think in your head you can't get air, but you are getting air. But you know what I'm saying? You don't think you can, and you hear that noise 24/7. Dee, dee, dee. Oh my God! Underwater noise. You hear that? And I
Oh
went on a
man.
tour. The boat was underwater, and I remember on one Saturday afternoon, me and a couple guys went on just a tour where it was it was out of the water, but half of it was in the water, and we just went down looking. I couldn't get out of
Yeah.
there fast enough.
Yeah, it was like too much, right? It was like
No, but
closing in
remember the
on you.
Navy boats. If you got sick of being locked in, you could go out on the deck on a beautiful sunny day and get sun and get some fresh air in a regular naval boat or play, like you said, guys playing basketball on the deck. You could go outside. But when you're in one of them friggin' things, holy shit, it's crazy. It's dark, like it's like 3/4 dark, 24/7, and them underneath the water. You know what I mean? Because they keep everything dark because they don't want people. There ain't too many lights on them ships. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
very
they don't want a signal to go
yeah,
out so that
uh,
you're gonna give it up. You'll give
exactly.
up the boat.
And there's people that are on them boats for many, many years, and I give nothing but credit. They go 6 months underwater and then 6 months up, and they're like almost off.
It's crazy, man.
You got to go. They won't. If you join up and right by your house is the sub base
Yeah,
in
Groton,
London,
Groton.
Groton,
Yeah,
Groton
Groton
Long
sub
Point.
base.
That's
Yeah.
where the sub base is, and they make you go through months and months and months of psychological testing.
I went to rehab out there.
Oh, really? Well,
Yeah.
them guys. Let me tell you, some of them guys they got to go to rehab after they got off them friggin' boats.
Yeah.
I tell
I'm
you,
sure they do,
I give them
man.
a lot of credit. Them guys, whoever was a guy, an underwater guy like that, a submariner, I give them nothing but credit. They're very, very strong people, very strong individuals.
So how long were you? What ended up happening? Like, so you
Um,
were you were
well,
doing your tours.
yeah, I was doing my tours. I went around the world probably in 2 years' time. I went around the world about twice. I crossed the equator twice in less than 2 years. And then, well, I can't really get into too much of it, but what happened was there was an attack on my ship back in the day before we didn't know what the Taliban was. We didn't know who them guys were. We didn't know none about them. We didn't know who Bin Laden was. This is talking about you know mid '80s, late '80s. We didn't know who he was, and they had a attack. Actually, it was an attack on the boat in front of us. We were moored in Pearl Harbor, and a boat. They did a thing where there used to be people that were like terrorists, but we didn't know to the extent they were. Like now we know it's the Taliban and what they do and who they are. We didn't know it back.
What were they on the boat? They
No,
weren't
no, no,
on
no.
the boat,
What they
right?
used to do is they used to different boats. They used to go with like a rowboat. They would go with a rowboat on the side of the naval ships, and they would call them sticky bombs. And what they would do is they would soak a big heavy rag in oil, and then they would have dynamite on the underneath, the timer. And what they would do is they would go, and there was some sick. They didn't happen too often, but sometimes it did. And they would take they called it a sticky bomb, and they would stick the oil rag with dynamite on, onto your ship, and then roll away. Like roll away. It would be no motorboat. It would just be a roll away,
Yeah, they have a
and
timer on it.
a timer on it. It would blow your ship up, but it wouldn't blow the ship up. It was only enough to blow maybe like about a section, a 5 foot by 5 foot section. But military Navy boats are all airtight, so every
Yeah, they have
compartment is
compartments
airtight.
in each one, right? They have
Right.
compartments. So
So
if
it only
one
blow
blows, they can still
right. It would
float.
only if it made a hole in the wall of the ship, it would only be like 2 feet big, and it would just flood out that little compartment, say 7 by 5 feet, and the rest of the boat wouldn't sink. Okay,
Yeah.
and they tried to pull some bullshit like that to a ship that was moored in front of us, and it shook my ship. It shook my ship. The bomb, a sticky bomb, shook my ship, but it was enough to let's just say on my ship we had a chemical spill from a warhead, a chemical spill from a warhead. So it I'm a gunner's mate, so it was in the locker with all the different weapons, and there was a spill, and me and two other guys were it didn't the ship, it didn't happen on my ship, but the vibration tipped over some stuff, and it let it was a chemical a
Yeah.
chemical spill came out of something that it came out of. It shouldn't have, but they wanted us to clean it. And I'll never forget it. It was called, we found out later through court and everything, it was called Friquil. And it was a neurotoxic chemical that was in the warhead. And do you ever go to the mall, or you ever go to a concert and they give you that green stuff where you bang it on the side of the wall and it turns green, like lights up green? You know what I'm saying? At the concerts, they have them. It's like a stick, and
The
it's
little
regular
glow
color,
sticks.
glow sticks, and you bang them,
Yeah,
they become
yeah.
ultraviolet
You go
green.
and
Okay,
they turn green.
exactly. Well, picture
Yeah,
that glow stick. Picture that glow material inside that
yeah,
spilt all over a compartment in the ship. That green showing, that color shit showing all over.
yeah,
And a military guy comes up to me and a couple other guys in that department and says, "Listen, it was just a spill, no problem. You just got to clean it up." So now they have hazmat suits and all that. We said, "Well, okay, we'll put the hazmat suits." Oh no, I don't need that. Just get in there, clean it up. If you want to put on a regular, regular like plastic suit, you can, but it's not a big deal. So meanwhile, we clean it up. It takes about 8 hours to clean this chemical up, and you don't think nothing of it. And about probably like 2 weeks later, we're in the we're actually we're sailing towards San Francisco, Alameda, California, and I was getting sick. My eyelid was shut in. My eyelids were shut in, and I was feeling wicked weak. And I thought I had the flu. I go, "Oh, something's fucked up. I'm not feeling right. Something ain't right here." So I was going to we're in the water now. We're in the ocean. It took 6-7 days from Honolulu to go to Alameda, San Francisco area. And I was getting sick, and my eyelid was closed. One eyelid was completely shut, like somebody punched me in the eye. And I had no control over my eyelid. And I'm thinking, what the hell is this? So I went to the ship's doctor, and he's like, "Oh, we don't know what this is. Wait, when we land, we'll bring you, whatever." And now the other two kids in my ship were sick as well, and they were
yeah.
sick too, and they had different symptoms. One kid was like didn't want to get out of bed. Another kid was sore. So it was three of us. So we end up pulling up into San Francisco 6-7 days later, and they bring us to Alameda, California Naval Hospital, which is in Alameda. It's right outside San Francisco, Alameda. And so we're in the hospital. Me and the three kids go, and we get brought there by like a Navy Jeep. So we're in the hospital, and we're there about a week. And we don't come back to the ship. The ship is going to, they say, well, the ship's leaving in a week to go out on tour, and we'll let you know if you guys can go. So, I called my parents. I said, "Son, I ain't right here. I'm sick. I'm in the hospital. I cleaned up. I told them everything. And these kids are sick too." I said, "I don't know what's going on," but I kept them abreast of everything. So meanwhile, a week later, my ship takes off, and we're not on the ship. So they go, "It's okay. You finish up your stuff here, and then we'll fly you on a helicopter out to the ship and meet the ship in wherever they are in the Indian Ocean or wherever." I said, "Okay." So a couple of weeks later, I'm still sick. My eyelids are shut in. Crazy, crazy symptoms. So this woman comes up to me and she says, "We're going to do a test on you," and they shoot in my arm some kind of like they find my vein in my arm, and they shoot this chemical in my arm, and all of a sudden they shoot the chemical in my arm, and my eyelid opens right up. Now it's been closed for a week and a half. All of a sudden, bang! It opens right up, completely right up, and I go, "Holy shit!" And my eye starts watering, and it opened my eye right up, and I all of a sudden I got all kinds of strength back in my body. It was like a miracle. I go, "Oh the shit! What was this?" So meanwhile, fast forward a couple more weeks, they got me at this hospital for 3 weeks, doing all kinds of tests, doing everything. So now everybody's hush hush. Nobody's telling me what's going on. The other two of my friends get taken away. I have no idea where they went at the time. They get taken away.
Yeah.
So I'm by myself, and I go to they had us in a dorm. I go to the dorm, they're gone. I go, where's this guy? Where's that guy? Irish kid from Boston, Flannery. Where's this guy? Oh no, they took him. Where'd they take him? They didn't tell me. So meanwhile,
Are you thinking they're like dead or something?
well, I didn't know where the hell they are. I just said to myself, "This is crazy. Three of us got here. I'm the only one left. What the fuck happened? Where are these guys? Nobody knows where they are. I mean, they're not telling me. Everything's hush hush." So
Yeah.
meanwhile, I'm calling my parents. Now they're letting me call my parents, but I'm in a locked ward. I'm in a locked ward where I got to sign out when I leave, when I come in. They want to know where I am all the time. So I'm calling my parents. I'm calling my parents, and my parents are getting a hold of lawyers saying, "Hey, listen, this kid joined the military. He's 20 years old, perfectly healthy. Now he's fucking eyelids are shut and he's weak. What the fuck's going on over here?" So uh my anyways, finally I'm there about a month. And my ship's gone. I don't know where my ship is. It's already gone. They don't tell me nothing. So they say, "Okay, you're flying to they're gonna fly me now to Bethesda Naval Hospital in Maryland, right outside Washington, DC, where the president goes." It's anybody knows about this place in the military, Marines or Navy. It's the best hospital in the world for military hospital. It's called the U.S. It's called Bethesda Naval Hospital in Maryland. It's in Bethesda, Maryland, the #1 hospital in the world. That's where the president goes if he gets sick. Anywhere there's an attempt on his life, if it's anywhere near Washington, that's where he'll go. Where they save him. It's an incredible hospital. So they send me over there. Come to find out, I'm all up in the air. Well, don't you know, I run into the 2 guys that were with me that they took away there. They went before me, right?
Yeah.
So I hook up with these 2 guys, right? God's honest truth. I run into one guy. He's got Hopkins disease. You know what Hopkins disease is? It's a form of cancer. It's a form of cancer, okay? I meet these guys, okay, in a lunchroom. One guy's got cancer. The other guy's got some other disease. Not cancer, but it's like Graves' disease or something, right? Now, these are 3 of us are what do they call it? Is healthy as can be. And a month later, one guy got Hopkins disease, one guy got Graves' disease that's sick, and I got this other. I don't know what I got. My eyes are shutting and crazy. So, make a long story short, and like I said, there's some things I can't say because when I retired, I signed things. But make a long story short, we cleaned up a neurotoxic chemical. That's what we cleaned up. It came out afterwards. We cleaned up a neurotoxic chemical. And each of us got a different illness. And thank God mine was what it is because I'm still living today. And I can tell you, I don't know about one guy, but I know one guy's definitely long gone. I mean, he lost his life a couple of years after due to this cancer. But so I was at the Bethesda Naval Hospital for 2 years, getting treatment, getting medication, and I got a disease called it's a real disease, but it's only supposed to be in the disease is supposed to be in women in their 40s. I'm a 19-year-old kid, healthier than ever, and it's called myasthenia gravis. And what it is it's a form of multiple sclerosis. Now, here's an 18-year-old kid goes in the Navy completely healthy, nothing wrong with him, and then 2 years later, I got a form of multiple sclerosis, and I was completely healthy. So, I go to court. They put me through court. And I go to court, and all the stuff comes out, the medical, the lawyers, everything goes. I'm in there for 2 years in Bethesda Naval Hospital, and they retire me from the military for life. They retire me. They gave me full medical, full dental. Great pay. Thank God I'm good. I'm good today. But I'm saying my kids, fast forward to now, my daughters went to college for free. I went to college for free. We get full medical, full dental for life. So the bottom line is they screwed up. That's the bottom line. So they call it a service-connected illness. That's what they called it. Yeah. And, fast forward to, my age now. So, I'm retired from the military for life due to a service-connected illness. And, like I said, thank God, all right. Thank God I got something that I still can, I'm good. And I just get monitored by the military, but it's nothing that, thank God, could kill me, but I got it under control. And like I said, it is what it is. But that was my experience. I mean, crazy experience, but God's honest truth. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts, man.
Nuts. And I don't be wrong. I feel all these soldiers that went through all this military. These guys that with the Agent Orange, and then all the stuff in Iraq with all these chemicals and this PTSD. And, I'm telling you, these are some real illnesses, and you got to have a lot of these guys. These are heroes. These guys went over there, and they got all kinds of. How many soldiers came back with no arms, no limbs? I mean, I got to thank God every night that I got my limbs and everything. But these guys came back with no arms, no legs. I mean, you see that's out there. These guys are heroes,
I know. My friend Joe Cerna, man, he lost his whole company twice.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, them guys are heroes. I just happened to get put in a little predicament where it wasn't wartime. It just happened to be a stupid terrorist act, stupid terrorist thing. But, it is what it is. But these guys here are coming back with no arms, no legs, PTSD. They're all this. I mean, I see a lot of shows, but I will say, I got to say the truth. The veterans really take care of their men. I mean, if you want help, they'll give you help. I mean, it ain't like Vietnam.
There's some veterans that are out there on the street, man. I don't know.
Well, what's sad is the veteran. Trust me when I tell you, the veterans have programs for them, but a lot of them are mentally problems. And if they just would turn themselves into a veterans hospital or a veterans thing, they have homeless shelters for them. I mean, they treat their veterans very good, but you can't make the veterans you know, you can't make these military guys go out and pull you off the street. They're not going to do that by force.
Yeah, just
But
like you can't make someone stop doing drugs. They gotta want to do it themselves.
exactly.
You know.
Now they'll give you all the things. Like if you're on drugs and you're a veteran, they'll put you in a place where they lock you up. They get you off drugs. They get you on your right frame of mind. They put you in a home. They'll do all of them things for you, but you got to make the official step. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's too
Yeah,
bad.
man.
The services are there. The veterans get treated. I seen it. I seen it firsthand, and I seen it with friends of mine that were drug addicts, alcoholics, and they gave up and said, "Listen, we're going to the veterans," and the veterans took care of them, hooked them up, got them off everything, got them beautiful living places, and got their life back together, and they met beautiful women and moved on to have great lives. But like you said, you can't force somebody to get sober if they don't want to get it.
Yeah, definitely, man. I was in that situation, and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't want to get it for a long time. You know.
And then look at what happens. You know, you finally wake up and you have your you know, you have your reckoning, and now you're doing great things. You got great things going, which, you know, I won't talk about, but you got great things going in another state coming up, and you got you're with your mom, and just things are going good. You're off everything, so you're making a great YouTube channel. So I'm just saying, you ain't gonna change until you want to change yourself. Nobody's gonna force
Definitely,
you to
man.
change. You know that.
Yeah, man. Definitely. Thank you for coming tonight, man. I
No,
really appreciate you, bro.
to me, thank you. Like I said, I'm not going to get into it now. It'll be another show, but I got some legal stuff going now, but that's neither here or there. But that'll come. You know, like I said, you know me, I go do what I got to do. I might have to go in, and you might not see me on Instagram for a little while, but that's okay. I go do what I got to do. But that was another whole thing. That's could be another whole 2 shows, but neither
Yeah,
here.
we're gonna
Don't
get
worry
it out
about
to the
that.
people, man, and
Yeah, yeah,
it'll be good. We'll make it entertaining for them.
yeah. But thank you for
Definitely.
having me on. I hope I shed a little bit of light on anyways. But listen, the bottom line is all these people out there that were in war, and especially, like I said, I wasn't in war, but all these guys that were in with the you know, Bin Laden and all this craziness, you know, and especially these guys, a lot of them are homeless guys and they're on the street and they got signs, homeless veteran, help me, and all this. You know, don't abuse them guys. I mean, you know, they got their own mental problems, and you know, I'm not saying give them money and say, oh, go do what you want, but
Yeah,
don't
no.
abuse the guys. They did help fight for our country, and they really got mental problems, and just kind of respect them. That's all. And
Yeah, and if you can help out for the toy drive for the homeless,
oh, absolutely, anything like that, anything positive like that, it's honorable. Do that, because
I
that's at
got
the end
over
of the day, you know.
got over 300 towards it so far. And if anyone wants to donate, anything that gets donated through the channel from now until Christmas will go towards the homeless toy drive. So if you can donate, donate. If you can't, share the video. And thank you all. Appreciate it.
All right, Staxx,
Um,
thank you. Have a good night.
definitely, man.
Thank your
I'll
audience for listening, and we'll talk again soon. Okay, my pal.
yeah, I'll talk to you soon, man. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. Bye bye.
Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so you could get my videos every time they drop. Until next time, man. See you guys soon.